How's it going, folks? It's Zacqhary here, and today I'm going to be doing some ranked Hearthstone play with a pretty typical Demon Zoo deck. Some people have Direwolf Alpha or a few other tech cards in here that I don't have, but for the most part this is a pretty standard list with the Mal'Ganis, Voidcallers, Doomguards, all the other Demon Synergy and all that fun stuff. So, plan on getting in a few games. I am currently ranked 5. I don't think I'll be getting to Legend this season, just because it's so close to the end of the season, and I'm really looking to get my YouTube channel started, up and running, and out there. So it's unlikely that I'll be hitting Legend this season, but I am really excited for the new expansion next season, and I will hopefully try to save up a bit of gold to do a pack opening for that. Up against Hunter, I definitely want to keep the Imp Gang boss, because the spawned imps will definitely help against a lot of the Hunter's low drop early aggressive minions. The Voidwalker is definitely a good pickup. The egg would be a bit better if I had an abusive sergeant or power overwhelming or any sort of activator. The implosion will probably be pretty helpful too. The Voidwalker will definitely be a bit more helpful if he is Face Hunter, but it looks like he doesn't have any turn 1 play. But definitely still good to play the Voidwalker. It won't contest a Knife Juggler or anything like that, but if a Knife Juggler trades into it, as I expect it to, it won't be too big of a deal. Just gonna coin out the Imp Gang boss to contest the Knife Juggler, and also to hopefully prevent him from playing too many minions out, because the knives will hit the Imp Gang boss and cause more imps to spawn. But I definitely expect him to trade into the Voidwalker. Oh, and he goes for Hunter's Mark. That kind of sucks for me. And the Owl. It'd be really nice. Oh, he did that in the wrong order. Yeah. That wasn't something I was really thinking about, but he definitely did that in the wrong order there. He should have silenced off the effect first and then gone for the Hunter's Mark, but I guess he was hoping that the knife would hit after the Hunter's Mark, but he wasn't taking into account the way that the silence would work. I kind of want to be able to play the Knife Juggler with the Implosion. I'm also concerned that he might have Explosive Trap in his deck. Although he didn't play anything too aggressive, the Hunter's Mark kind of indicates that he's mid-range. So I'm going to try to get some juggles in. Unfortunately, I missed the juggle there. At least I killed one of them, so that's good. Hopefully it is not Explosive Trap, because I do want to make use of the implosions, and the imps will be really good to proc the Freezing Trap, if it is Freezing Trap. If he gets 2 traps... oh, he killed one of the 1/1s, which means it's not likely that it's an Explosive Trap, because if it were Explosive Trap it would die anyway, so he wouldn't have done that. Oh, that's strange. Okay. I really didn't expect it to be Explosive Trap, because he could have just attacked face and let my just let the 1/1 die to the Explosive Trap. Maybe he thought that the Freezing Trap would go off first. I'm not entirely sure why he made the attack the way that he did. Here, I'm not sure. He is mid-range, so it's probably a Freezing instead of a Snake. I'll probably choose to bounce the Flame Imp, even though that's probably not the best thing for me. Maybe I'll bounce the Nerubian and... yeah, I'll bounce the Nerubian. And then I will Implosion, which will hit for at least 2, so that I can kill with the Imp. And of course, I get always lucky and get 4 Imps, which is nice for me. I can't really tap too much, because he does have 2 additional charges on the bow already, which isn't very good for me, but I really wasn't expecting an explosive trap. The Loatheb doesn't really prevent much. It does stop me from using the second Implosion, but I might just Doomguard here and clear his board. It looks like that's what I'm going to do. And I keep the Owl, which will probably be beneficial for me. Although it looks like I'm a bit too far behind. I really can't tap. And I don't have any cards in hand. And I'm so low on health already that it's fairly likely that he's got me. If I get a Power Overwhelming here, it might swing the game a bit, but I really don't think it'll be enough. Abusive Sergeant, probably not going to be enough. I might have to tap, but there really isn't much I can do. Oh, Defender of Argus is good. So I'm going to Defender of Argus here. Use the Abusive Sergeant to kill this. See what comes out. And I'm probably dead at this amount of health. A Silence kills me. Any spell damage, yeah. And he's showing off that he had the extra spell, so yeah. It looked like I just wasn't able to stave off the early aggression there. I didn't expect the explosive trap, and then I didn't have much left that was good to proc the freezing trap. But sometimes Zoo just can't stave off the aggression of Hunter, so nothing seemed, anything to be upset about. And up against Warlock, which, if it's Zoo, I really hope to get my earlier drops so that I can get the earlier board control. But if it's Handlock, I'm not sure exactly what I want to do. I think I'm going to hold the Abusive Sergeant so that on turn 3 I have the flexibility of playing the Abusive with the second Haunted Creeper, or playing the Imp Gang boss. Here the Haunted Creeper is very good against his Abusive Sergeant, so I'm kind of glad that I didn't play mine. Because the Haunted Creeper will trade really well, obviously, and the Abusive Sergeant will be able to most likely hit one of the Spiderlings. Yeah, so I kept the flexibility, and I'm going to play the Imp Gang boss out this turn and trade in. He'll be able to trade off against one of my Spiderlings, or Spectral Spiders, whatever these are called. Spectral Spiders. I don't know why I was calling them Spiderlings. But he'll be able to trade off against one of them, and I can either use the other one to trade in, or hit with the Imp Gang boss to spawn an Imp, just depending on what he plays.
I wonder.
And coining out the Implosion, and then trading in the Wolf. Nope, not trading in the Wolf. Trading in the Wolf. It still looks like me getting out my Imp Gang boss before his just put me at a really good early advantage. So, should I tap? Tap Creeper? Yeah, tap Creeper seems good. Pick up my second Imp Gang boss, which is good. Imp Gang boss is a really important card in this matchup because it gives so much board control against a lot of these low drops like the Abusive Sergeants, even against the Void Walkers and Flame Imps and things like that. And it looks like I've already put him in ooh, turn 4 tap nothing. It looks like I've put him in a pretty difficult position at this point. I'm going to play out the egg because I have both Abusive Sergeants in hand. Normally I would probably tap to try and get more flexibility with my hand, but having both Abusive Sergeants makes the egg being already on board much better for me. I wonder what his hand must be that he tapped last turn without playing anything. And this is unfortunate for him because I can just trade in really efficiently here. Trade my Haunted Creeper into one of his spiders. Like this. Probably tap Flame Imp. I really wonder what his hand must be, but I've already got a full board like this. I don't have a lot of damage on board, and if he pops my Haunted Creeper I will miss out on one of the spiders, but it's not a big deal. I have such a good advantage right now that losing out on 1/1/1 really won't make a difference.
I have no time for games.
Ooh, Sylvanas. What? He must be more... a bit more handlock? I wonder what this means. He must be more demon handlock to be running Sylvanas. I didn't expect that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6... I can't really afford to trade everything into the Sylvanas. I might do it this way. See what he steals. Hopefully he steals... yeah, he stole my 1/1, which is good for me. You can tell because it was no longer green, which means that it couldn't attack. And I will just play out... I'm going to tap here. And I will play my Knife Juggler and an egg. I know I don't have a lot of power on board, but having both eggs out is preventing him from doing something like Hellfire. He does seem to be a bit more mid-range control, so I do kind of expect him to have a Hellfire. It kind of sucks that he got 2 there, but it shouldn't matter much. I have my own Implosion. I think I'm going to pop one of my eggs. Maybe not. Maybe that's not a good idea. Well, that goes there. And this goes there. I have the option to pop one of my eggs on the owl, which might be good because it will stop him from silencing it before he gets the opportunity. Or I could simply kill off the other egg so that it's not taking up space on my board. That might be a good idea. This way my board is still resilient against Hellfire. I'm gonna go ahead and tap because I really don't want... ooh, this is nice. I kind of hope that my 1/1 survives now so that I can have the Void Terror eat it. There's really nothing I want to play. I don't know if he has Molten Giants in this deck. I imagine he has both Jiraxxus and Mal'Ganis. He is taunting up, so it seems like he probably has Mal'Ganis. I'm gonna go ahead and do this. Hit in, and we'll see what comes out. Doomguard. It's not as bad as it could have been. How do I want to do this? I think I will be a bit aggressive here. play this. Attempt to implosion his 2/3 so that my taunt can stay alive. I do successfully get 3. And hopefully my 1/1 taunt will prevent his Doomguard from getting through. I'm hoping that he doesn't have a coil. And it looks like he is going to have to attack into it. And I'm really just hoping he doesn't have AoE or something like healing or a larger taunt than just this Voidwalker. And it looks like he doesn't have an answer. So, it was interesting. He was still a demon deck, but he seemed a little more mid-range control, whereas my deck, it's still a control deck, but it's just, his deck wasn't as fast as my deck. He had higher cost cards like Sylvanas, and he seemed to be tapping a lot more, and he didn't have any low drops, but he did still have Abusive Sergeant, which I found interesting, so I really didn't expect the Sylvanas. Matched up against Shaman, which, if this is Mech Shaman, then this hand is pretty good to deal with the early threats, like the Whirling Zap-O-Matic, Mech Warper, things like that. If this is mid-range Shaman, then I should probably just pray that he doesn't have Lightning Storm in his opening hand. But we'll see. Most Shaman have been Mech recently, but there's a list out that's a bit of a combination between Mech and mid-range. It's just a very fast Shaman deck with Feral Spirit and some other lower cost overload cards to take earlier control of the board, where Mech Shaman tends to fail at board control a bit. So we'll see how fast his deck is, depending on whether he plays a card here or if he just hero powers. Looks like he's debating. He might have an early drop, but it's one that just dies to what I have on board, so he doesn't want to play it. Oh, instead he goes for the Rockbiter. He considered playing a card from the left of his hand, though, which might mean that it's something like Mech Warper, but he was concerned that it would just die to what I had on board. Or even Whirling Zap-O-Matic, because he wants it to deal more damage and not just die right away. Here I hope that he just doesn't have Lightning Storm, but even if he does, I'll still have 2 1/1s on board. I'm wondering if... Oh, coining out a 4-drop. Mech Yeti. So it does look like it's Mech Shaman. Luckily I have the Implosion, which should... Oh, and I rolled 4, so yeah, the Yeti is definitely dying. Not gonna lie, it's pretty lucky on my part, but it was in my favor to kill the Yeti anyway, and even if I had only rolled 2, I could have attacked in with the Haunted Creeper to get 2 more Knife Juggles there. The taunt is pretty nice, considering it does seem to be Mech Shaman. He had a slow start, but I'm assuming it's because he has low drops that he didn't want to die. Here's the Mech Warper, a Noyotron, and another Rockbiter. Do I possibly still have lethal? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... It looks like I am off of lethal, unfortunately, because of the Annoyotron. But if he doesn't... yeah. I was going to say if he doesn't have Lightning Storm, then it's unlikely that he has anything that he can really do to stave off, you know, from dying in the next couple of turns. So he must have just had a really bad opening. Probably do 1 or 2 more games depending on how long this next game goes. I don't know, I haven't gotten really into the swing of things yet in terms of how long my videos should be, but if it's a short game, we'll definitely do another one after it. Mage.
You asked for it.
It's probably going to be a rough matchup. Tempo Mage possibly has the ability to outvalue me. Flame Imp into Haunted Creeper into Imp Gang Boss. Wow, this is a really good hand. This is probably one of the best hands I could get with this deck. Even so, Freeze Mage and Tempo Mage, yeah, he's Tempo. He still has a pretty good chance against me. I'll go ahead and double Flame Imp. That way, even if he Frostbolts or Flame Cannons one of them, the other one will still be able to take out the Mana Worm, because I really don't want it to get that much damage in. I mean, I've already dealt 6 damage to myself from playing out the Flame Imps. And this looks good for me. I was expecting a Frostbolt, so this went better than I could have hoped for. And I'm going to play out both Voidwalkers, because I don't want a Flame Imp to just die to the Mad Scientist. And hopefully he doesn't have much he can do on this turn. I'm kind of hoping... So he plays out his Scientist. I was kind of hoping that he would be forced to ping, which would be very beneficial for me. I think I'm going to go ahead and do this. If he gets 2 traps, they're probably... One of them is certainly Mirror Entity, and the other one is most likely Counterspell. But I don't mind giving him a Haunted Creeper, because it's not very much power on the board for him. Oh, 3 secrets. Huh. That's unusual. Huh. Well, I think I'm going to play the Void Caller since I drew Mal'Ganis. It does kind of suck for it to get copied, but I can just trade into it, and he's not going to have any demons in hand. Maybe it's a duplicate, and it's not a duplicate. Ice Barrier? Vaporize? Vaporize? Huh. That's unusual, but I guess it makes some sense. It is a bit of a tempo swing for him. He plays another secret. And he pings my Void Caller instead of my face, which means it's probably not a Vaporize, a second Vaporize. It's probably another Mirror Entity. And it's not. What are these secrets? One of them's maybe a duplicate, then? I didn't pay attention very well to the ordering in which the previous secrets went off, so... Pretty sure the one that was left over is probably Counterspell. The second one that he's played now is likely Duplicate. So I'm expecting... I expect that when I kill this, that it'll get duplicated. And I don't really want that to happen. Although I do want to get Mal'Ganis out. And it seems like he won't be able to deal with Mal'Ganis and play out the Void... or play out the Flamewakers. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. It is a duplicate. So I'm going to tap for free because I have Mal'Ganis out, so I won't take any damage. And I'll just play out the Haunted Creeper, I suppose. Next turn I have Dr. Boom, which is why I don't really mind getting the Mal'Ganis out, even though the Flame Wakers could come down. Oh, he had Polymorph. It's unusual. I'm gonna play out the Dr. Boom. It's nice that I have the Doomguard now when I don't really have any cards in hand. Hopefully I'll draw something that I can play with the Doomguard. It's unfortunate that he had Polymorph. I was kind of fearing it, but these decks usually don't run it. They usually run too much burn, like Fireballs and Frostbolts. So I really didn't expect the Polymorph. Yeah, see, there's the Frostbolt. Well, let's see. Oh, that's good. Let's see where my Boombots hit. Kill the Azure Drake. Oh, this is probably Counterspell, so it'll be good for me to discard the Implosion here. Because it would most likely get Counterspelled anyway. Here it looks like I have a lot more damage than I really do because the Power Overwhelming is just going to get counterspelled if I try to play it. So unless I draw the second one, or unless I draw into more damage, I probably don't have lethal. Unless he doesn't have a way to kill Dr. Boom. He did just play a Frostbolt, he already played a Polymorph. He has one Flamewaker in hand, doesn't he? From the duplicate? So he possibly should have played it before playing the Portal. But it looks like he's hoping to draw into something to kill the Dr. Boom. And he doesn't have anything. Alright, so even though the Polymorph came down on Mal'Ganis, I still was in a pretty favorable position with the Doomguard into Dr. Boom. So that was good for me. And let's go ahead and get probably one last battle. One last game. I said battle because I'm very used to Pokemon terminology, so I do intend to upload Pokemon videos soon. Be playing on Pokemon Showdown. But for now, I've been playing a lot more Hearthstone than I have Pokemon. So I wanted to get some Hearthstone videos out. The Void Caller seems good, but without something better in hand, it just is too unlikely to go off successfully. This hand is a little slow as compared to the last time I was up against Warlock, so I kind of hope that he either is a little more control-y like the last one, or he simply doesn't have a fast start. Play out the Creeper first so I can possibly get the Juggles. And it looks like he's either Handlock or he's more mid-rangey like the previous Warlock. If he's Handlock, I'm going to have to slowly build up power on the board and be careful how much damage I deal. Although, oh, Zombie Chow. He's still probably Handlock. It's probably an anti-aggro measure for him to have Zombie Chow. So here, I hope that I can land a knife. Come on. Come on. Yes. Okay, so that's good for me, because I didn't have to pop my Haunted Creeper, which means my board stays pretty resilient to Hellfire with both the Egg and the Haunted Creeper. I expect he'll play either a Giants or an Azure Drake. And he doesn't have them. Does he have a Taunt? Looks like it.
Shields up.
Alright. Ooh, Void Caller is good. I'll probably be playing the Giant for sure. The question is whether or not I want to... No, if I pop the Creeper, it won't make a difference because I'll be killing the Ancient Watcher anyway. So I'm going to play the Giant, see where the knife goes. That was a good knife throw. Hit here, see where the knife goes. I kind of wanted it to go into the Watcher, but it's understandable that I wouldn't get it. I could save a 1-1, but it's probably not worth it. So I'll just do it like this. And I'll sacrifice a 1-1 so that I can possibly get the knife juggles in. I'm just going to let the rope go. Come on. Yes. Oh, that was really lucky on my part. Not even going to lie. I'm a little less resilient to Hellfire now that the Creeper is popped, but the Sea Giant being on board is really good for me. This might be a good enough silence target. Let's see, I have 14 damage. It might not be worth it. I should probably kill it. Yeah, I should probably just kill it, because if I do too much damage, he's going to be able to play out his Moltens with taunts. So I'm just going to play the Void Caller and tap. And I get a second Knife Juggler. Here, if he plays a big taunt, I'll be able to break through. I have 14 damage on board still, with the possibility of getting a Knife Juggle in. If I draw into any damage, I should have lethal. Pretty sure Abusive Sergeant is lethal, right? Because I can trade a 1-1 in, silence, and then play the Abusive, which would be 15 damage. Yeah. So he needs to play very carefully on this turn. He probably needs to... Ooh, he probably needs to heal, but it looks like he's not going to. Although he does remove some damage from the board. Oh, is this still enough? 13, 14, 15. Yeah, this is still enough damage.
My shield for Argus.
And it was that was a close game. I was really concerned about setting his health too low because of the Molten Giants, but it looked like he either didn't have them or he didn't think that the taunt would be enough if he was able to play them. I mean, he wasn't low enough that he would have been able to play Moltens with taunt, I don't think, which is probably why he didn't want to heal and just went to remove power from the board. But overall, I just had too overwhelming of a board presence early on for him to deal with, and he didn't have any of his turn 4 threats like the Mountain Giant or the Twilight Drake. So I was able to just overwhelm him, even though he did have double Zombie Chow as an anti-aggro measure. But overall, I was just able to overwhelm him there, so... that was a pretty good session, a few games, one loss, I think. I really do like this deck. I did not have Mal'Ganis until just the other day. I actually crafted him because I wanted to be able to play this deck. I disenchanted a Golden Deathwing, a Golden Deathwing in order to craft Mal'Ganis. But I really like this deck. It's fun. Oh, Golden Mortar Coil. Didn't notice I got that. I really liked the old school Zoo back when it was more popular, and I liked the Naxxramas Zoo before the Undertaker nerf, so I really like this style of deck. And despite what a lot of people think, it's not a mindless deck. It really is. There really is a lot of thought that goes into positioning and making use of abusive sergeant buffs, power overwhelming, Defender of Argus, things like that. If you do use Direwolf Alpha, there's even more of an issue with positioning to make sure that you get in the damage that you need with Direwolf Alpha, things like that. So I really like this deck. I'll probably play a lot more of it in the future, probably record more of it. I don't know if it'll be the deck that I use in the next video. I want to use a variety of decks for recording, but I'll definitely be using this deck a lot. And that's all for today. Later.